All right, so have you ever pictured yourself standing at a lectern, you know, not just teaching about language, but really like living it, breathing it, shaping young minds with its power?
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're going to do a deep dive into what it's really like to be a linguistics lecturer.
Exciting.
We've got some really interesting role catcher excerpts here, and trust me, it's way more dynamic than just, standing up there and lecturing.
Yeah. No, it really is.
So get ready to go beyond,
Yeah.
those typical dry textbook definitions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first things first, what does a linguistics lecturer actually do all day?
Right.
Our role catcher info mentions instructing students, which, sounds pretty straightforward.
Right.
But then there's all this emphasis on, on being well-versed in their subject area.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of that?
I think that's really the key here. It's more than just teaching. It's about being like a linguistics expert. You're not just reciting facts. You're living and breathing linguistics.
I like that.
It's constantly learning and researching and pushing the boundaries of what we know about language.
Right.
And it's that depth of knowledge that allows a lecturer to, create exciting new courses and conduct really impactful research and inspire like a whole new generation of linguists.
Yeah, you're inspiring, hopefully, future experts.
Exactly.
And speaking of research, it sounds like that's a huge part of the job description, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Publishing findings, attending conferences.
Yeah.
It's not just about the classroom, is it?
It's definitely not limited to the classroom.
Yeah.
It can be pretty demanding, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
Right.
Imagine being part of this, global community of scholars
Right.
who are all passionate about uncovering the mysteries of language.
Yeah.
And that energy, that passion, it really spills over into their teaching, and it creates a truly stimulating learning environment.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm getting this picture now of a very dynamic career path.
Yeah.
But where does all this teaching and research actually take place?
Okay.
RoleCatcher paints a picture of classrooms, offices, labs, even libraries.
Right.
Gosh, I can almost smell those little linguistics textbooks now. It brings me back.
Oh, yeah, I know. And you can't forget the all-important coffee.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Those late nights grading papers and perfecting lectures, they definitely call for some caffeine.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But you're right, the work environment is really diverse. You could be, analyzing data in a lab one day and then presenting at a conference the next, and then advising a student on their research project the day after that.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
So it's more than just, loving language.
Yeah.
You need to be able to juggle different roles and responsibilities,
Mm-hmm.
which leads us to, I think, a big question for a lot of people.
Okay.
What are the pros and cons of really dedicating yourself to this path?
Right. Well, let's start with the good stuff.
Okay.
So imagine having the opportunity to really shape young minds
Yeah.
and contribute to groundbreaking research and be a part of this vibrant academic community.
Yeah.
You're constantly learning and growing,
Right.
and you're surrounded by these brilliant people who share your passion for language.
Yeah.
What's not to love?
It sounds pretty idyllic. But RoleCatcher also mentions, and this is kind of the flip side, I guess,
Okay.
this high competition for tenure-track positions.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a dose of reality for anyone hoping for job security, right?
it is. That's the reality of academia, unfortunately.
Right.
The job market can be pretty fierce,
Yeah.
but that's where specializing in a specific area of linguistics can really make all the difference.
Oh, okay.
Think of it as like carving out your own niche. Becoming the go-to expert in sociolinguistics or computational linguistics or something.
Interesting.
And that makes you a much more attractive candidate for those coveted positions.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Specialization. Now, that's interesting. What I find really fascinating is that the source material here,
Yeah.
it doesn't actually list any specific specializations,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely implied that, they're key to making your mark in the field.
They're absolutely crucial. It's just like any other profession, really.
Yeah.
The more specialized your knowledge and your skills are, the more valuable you become.
Okay.
It's all about finding that sweet spot where your passion intersects with what the field really needs.
So you've got me thinking now, what area of linguistics would you be drawn to?
Ugh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Linguistics is so broad and fascinating.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But before we get sidetracked by our own linguistic passions,
Uh-huh.
let's bring it back to the skills and knowledge needed to really thrive as a linguistics lecturer.
Okay, sounds good. Well, RoleCatcher actually highlights learning strategies, reading comprehension, and writing as like the top three.
Oh, interesting.
which makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
You're always learning, you're constantly adapting to new research, dissecting these like complex academic papers.
Right.
And then you have to be able to turn around and communicate all those findings.
Yeah.
But you have to do it in a way that's clear and engaging.
Right.
And that really resonates with your students.
It's like you're this linguistic detective.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You're gathering clues from all this research. You're piecing together the puzzle of language.
Yeah.
And then you get to like share your deductions
Exactly.
in a way that helps other people see the world a little differently.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And, you know, you also can't underestimate the importance of communication and interpersonal skills.
Well, right, because you're dealing with people.
Exactly. It's not just words on a page. You're interacting with students, colleagues, maybe even the public if you're, presenting research or if you publish a book.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's a very social job.
It's like being a linguistic ambassador in a way.
Totally.
Now, speaking of like different roles, RoleCatcher kind of maps out this potential career progression.
Okay.
You start as a teaching assistant,
Uh-huh.
then you become a lecturer, and then a senior lecturer.
Right.
Seems pretty straightforward, but I'm guessing there's more to it.
There's always more to it than meets the eye.
Okay.
Each stage comes with its own like hurdles and rewards.
Okay.
As a teaching assistant, you're just kind of dipping your toes in,
Yeah.
assisting with courses, getting a feel for the academic world.
Right, right.
But as you climb the ladder to lecturer and then senior lecturer, those responsibilities, they really start to expand.
Yeah. You're like leveling up.
Yeah, exactly.
So more responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming also more influence, more impact.
Precisely. You're not just teaching at that point. You might be shaping curriculum. You might be mentoring junior faculty, even securing grants.
Wow.
To fund your own research projects.
That's amazing.
And with that comes greater job security, potential salary increases,
Right.
and, the satisfaction of seeing your work have a real impact on the field.
That's got to be incredibly rewarding.
Oh, it's hugely rewarding.
Let's back up a bit, though, before we get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
What about actually, like, landing that dream job in the first place?
Right.
RoleCatcher really seems to stress the importance of interview preparation.
Yeah.
Like, they even have this whole database of potential interview questions.
Oh, wow.
They gave us a sneak peek at one.
Oh, cool.
How do you say current with developments in the field of linguistics?
Oh, that's a good one.
What do you think?
I think that's a crucial question.
Yeah.
Because it really highlights how vital lifelong learning is in this career.
Right.
Linguistics is constantly evolving, new discoveries, and theories are emerging all the time. So you can't just rest on what you learned back in school.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to be this voracious reader, a conference attendee, always hungry for new knowledge.
So in a way, you're perpetually a student yourself,
In a way, yeah.
which I have to say sounds kind of exciting.
It definitely keeps things interesting, and I think it all comes back to that core point.
Okay.
A genuine passion for language is just absolutely essential for this job. That passion is what fuels the research. It inspires the teaching, and it honestly makes all the hard work worth it.
You said it.
Yeah.
So to recap, a linguistics lecturer's job is this amazing blend of teaching research and constant learning,
It really is.
all driven by this deep-seated love of language.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one element we haven't touched on yet,
Okay.
and it's right there in the RoleCatcher excerpts. It mentions how technology is like completely transforming teaching methods.
Yeah.
So what does that look like in the world of linguistics?
Right.
Because it feels like such a, classic field of study in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it kind of keeping pace?
Well, I think what's really interesting is that technology isn't just changing how we teach linguistics.
Okay.
It's actually revolutionizing the field itself.
Yeah.
Like, we have access to these massive data sets now of text and speech,
Right.
which allows for computational analysis on a scale that we couldn't have even imagined before.
So instead of just theorizing about how language works,
Right.
you can actually kind of see it in action.
Exactly. You can see it in action on this massive scale.
Yeah.
And we can track how language evolves like in real time
Wow.
and see the nuances of how people use it across different platforms and cultures.
That's wild.
It's amazing. And then there's the rise of things like natural language processing,
Oh, right.
which is, how AI understands and uses language.
Yeah.
And that's directly influenced by linguistic theory.
So as a linguistics lecturer, you're not just teaching about language then.
Right.
You're potentially shaping the tools that will use language in the future. Wow. That's kind of a powerful ripple effect.
It's huge.
It really is. It's like this career is this bridge between The ancient art of language
Mm-hmm.
and this cutting-edge world of technology.
I like that a lot, yeah.
And that bridge is only becoming more and more important as technology just keeps evolving at this pace.
I completely agree.
So I guess to kind of bring this all together, if there's someone out there listening who's just fascinated by language
Yeah.
and driven by this like thirst for knowledge
Mm,
and excited by all the possibilities that technology brings to the table,
right.
a career as a linguistics lecturer might just be like the perfect fit for them.
It really might.
I mean, it's challenging, it's demanding,
Yeah.
but ultimately it sounds so rewarding.
It is incredibly rewarding.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And you never know. You might be the one to make the next big breakthrough in our understanding of language.
Now that's something to think about.
It is.
It's like we always say, there's always more to learn and discover in this world of language.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it so endlessly fascinating.
I agree.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Okay.
Until next time, keep those linguistic gears turning.